Well, U.S. President Donald Trump held talks with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy in Washington, D.C. today, along with other NATO and European leaders. The U.S. president reportedly promised a lot of help for Ukraine and that the United States would be involved in keeping peace in Ukraine after a peace agreement is reached with Russia. Here's President Trump speaking today.
We're going to have a meeting. I think if everything works out well today, we'll have a trilat. And I think there will be a reasonable chance of ending the war when we do that.
And, is this the end of the road for American support for Ukraine? Is today's meeting deal or no deal?
I can never say that. It's never the end of the road. People are being killed and we want to stop that. So I would not say it's the end of the road. No, I think we have a good chance of doing it. It's been almost 4 years now that a lot of people were killed last week. A lot of people last week. I mean, millions of people killed, but a lot of people last week for whatever reason, a big number, a lot of soldiers, on both sides. And I know the president, I know myself, and I believe Vladimir Putin wants to see it ended.
Okay, so that was President Trump earlier today, and President Zelenskyy, who met with President Trump before the meeting, he had this to say.
We need to stop this war, to stop Russia, and we need support American and European partners. And we will do our best for this. I think we show that we are strong people, and we supported the idea of the United States, personally of President Trump, to stop this war, to make a diplomatic way of finishing this war. And we are ready for trilateral, as President said. This is a good signal about trilateral. I think this is very good.
President Zelenskyy again. So President Zelenskyy and President Trump were speaking from the Oval Office. They met with NATO leaders as well. So for a more local reaction to all of this, we have Iryna Shyroka with us. She is the president of the Ukrainian Canadian Congress of British Columbia. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Gloria. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, and thank you. Just how closely have you and members of the Ukrainian community in Canada been watching this particular day, this particular meeting?
Yes, so you can imagine the Ukrainians of Canada and the Ukrainians around the world are actually glued to their news outlets since Friday. We've been watching the major events upholding the meeting between Trump and Putin, and then today's meeting between the American president and the European leadership. We are holding very high hopes to hear the outcomes that will promise us to end the war.
Well, sure. And we're looking for details here, Iryna. I mean, it's still really not clear what the U.S. president means when he says we promise to give a lot of help. What's your interpretation of what unfolded today and the kind of help that Ukraine needs?
Yes, so this is definitely a different rhetoric that we've heard about half a year ago. And we are happy to hear that the American administration decided to continue selling the armory to Ukraine. In Ukraine, we need all kinds of support, military, financial, humanitarian. And we definitely would like to see this promise fulfilled. And of course, we are ready to buy the weaponry from the United States and to be delivered on time, because as we hear quite often that there is quite a lag between the deal and the delivery in Ukraine, and we would like to see this shipment times to be shortened as well.
What were your general thoughts just watching the overall dynamic today and the press conferences, the interactions? How would you compare today's meeting with the last time President Zelenskyy was at the White House?
Yeah, we definitely see better relationships between the Ukrainian and the American sides. We are happy to see that President Zelenskyy arrived with his support team, with the European leadership, showing an unwavering support, continuous support of Ukraine until the justice is reached and until the war is over. And we see that, a completely different rhetoric from the American side. We see promises given that were not given half a year ago. So, we are quite pleased by what we've seen today.
You know what we didn't hear today during the official press conferences, but before President Trump met with Russian President Vladimir Putin, he referred to land swaps. Reports suggest that he wanted to pressure Zelenskyy to surrender the entire Donetsk and Luhansk regions. That's the Donbass. Surrender that to Russia in return for Russia freezing the front line. President Zelenskyy has consistently said that will not happen. How do you see it?
No, I mean, the territory of Ukraine is outlined and defined in our constitution. I understand that it's the 3.5 years of war is going on, and everyone is getting tired, and no one wants peace more than Ukraine. And you saw that President Zelenskyy already agreed to a ceasefire with no conditions, and it didn't happen, even though Putin had all the cards. It's just we see it as another opportunity for Russia to make an agreement and never obey, never stick to it. Because not in our history, not once an agreement made with Russia was obeyed. So how confident are you feeling right now? I mean, this was, from what I'm hearing, you thought today was a good day. Now, how confident do you feel Russia will agree to peace terms? Well, we have our hopes for the promised meeting in the future between the three leaders. We'll see what they will decide, but we think that, the territory of Ukraine will stay the same, will remain as per the constitution, and we are hoping for justice. That's what this war is about.
What has this been like for you personally, you and the Ukrainian community here, watching all of this from afar?
Yeah, it's been devastating. I personally traveled to Ukraine a month ago, and I was able to feel it and experience it firsthand. It's devastating. The bombing, the missile attack every day and every night. It's just a different reality. When you come back home to Canada, to Vancouver, it feels absolutely surreal what's happening in Ukraine. But we have lots of newcomers. We have lots of displaced Ukrainians who found a new home in BC, and we all watching closely how the things are unfolding in Ukraine, and we are all hoping for the war to end on fair and just conditions.
Now, we're watching all of this unfold on a diplomatic level. Is there anything at a more grassroots level that Canadians or British Columbians can do to help the people of Ukraine?
Yes. Talk about it. Talk to your member of parliaments. Remember that there is still war going on. There's still civilians being killed. For example, even when President Trump and Putin had a meeting, since then, Russia has bombed Ukrainian cities and killing civilians. For example, last night, at least 10 civilians were killed in Kharkiv as a result of so-called peaceful negotiations on Friday.
Right. Okay. I was thinking also, one thing right to your member of parliament, that type of thing, but any collecting of goods or that type of thing going on, shipping things over to people?
We're definitely, we would appreciate any kinds of support from humanitarian to financial support. We have many foundations, including Canada Ukraine Foundation, that is collecting all the possible donations and sending humanitarian aid to Ukraine. But there's many more foundations and charity organizations that you can donate to help the displaced Ukrainians in BC as well as Ukrainians in Ukraine.
Iryna, thank you very much for making time for us today. And it is a historic day in many ways. We'll see what are the next steps.
Yes, thank you so much, Gloria.
That is Iryna Shyroka, the president of the Ukrainian Canadian Congress in British Columbia.